Just want to let you know that the session is being recorded. My name is Nicole Egelhofer-Wells. I'm a faculty consultant with UAGC, and I'll be your session host for Fostering Belonging and Inclusion, the role of peer mentoring in the undergraduate psychology exploration program. If you would like to view captions for this session, please click that show captions button at the bottom of your page. And without further ado, I will turn it over to Christy Ball and Arzu Corella. Thank you.
All right, let's see more, share, okay. Okay, you'll have to tell me if this is the right screen.
Yep.
Okay. Can everyone see this correctly?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so welcome everyone. Thanks for bearing with us. I feel like I'm hearing feedback. So hopefully you all can hear me correctly. But we're so excited that you're here. We're going to present on fostering belonging and inclusion, the role of peer mentoring in undergraduate psychology exploration program, and really wanted just to start to introduce ourselves. So my name is Christy Ball, and I have had the pleasure of working at the University of Arizona in the psychology department for most of my 20-year career so far. I started off as an academic advisor where I got to meet with students one-on-one, helping them figure out what they wanted to do and progress toward their degree. And my role at the time was unique in the sense that I got to teach in the classroom. And one of the classes that we're really focused on today in this presentation was Psych 197A Undergraduate Psychology Exploration Program. And a key part of that program was the mentoring component. So I'm really excited to be here with one of my favorite people, Arzu Corella, and so I'll hand it over to her and she can give her introductions.
Thanks, Christy. Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to be here with you all today. And again, thank you for bearing with us as we figured out how to get into this space this morning. I am the Senior Associate Vice President for Enrollment Management and Associate Dean for Undergrad Admissions at the University of Arizona. I've worked here for 26 years, but 30 if you count my student years as a student worker. I'm also a 3-time alum. I have my bachelor's in psychology and my master's and PhD in higher education from the University of Arizona. I have had the opportunity to work in a variety of areas within higher ed, within this institution, from admissions to recruitment to advising, teaching, retention, admissions operations, systems, communications, analytics, program development. So I've kind of been all over the place. But I worked in psychology department from 2002 to 2008 as the academic advising coordinator, which is where I got to work with Christy. When I started, we had about 1,500 majors, and that has grown. And I was the only advisor at the time, but in my tenure there, we increased to 4 advisors. And decided during that time to create this peer mentoring program. I have also created mentoring programs for the Arizona Assurance Scholars Program. And I'm also working in the Arizona Women Higher Education space doing mentoring programs there as well. So super passionate about mentoring, and it was also the focus of my dissertation on first-year success in peer mentoring programs. So that's just a little about me, and I'll turn it back over to Christy.
Great, thank you. So we did have a poll upon entering in the Whova app just to kind of get a sense of the room. And from what I saw, we had a mix in the room. There are some of you that do have a peer mentoring program currently. There are some of you looking to create one, but really most of the room is here to learn just more about peer mentoring. And everyone is welcome here. And so we're so glad you're here. And our goal today is to hopefully either answer your questions and inspire you to create a program like this, or help you fine tune a program that potentially you have going already. So as a reminder, our 3 learning outcomes, so we hope that from this presentation today, you will learn some of these things, but we want to explore some strategies for fostering belonging and how you can utilize peer mentoring to do that, whether it's part of an actual structured class or a separate program with students. Either way, we hope to demonstrate today that peer mentoring really can foster that sense of belonging, especially in higher education. We hope that you'll have ideas and strategies to make some next steps. So depending on where you're at in the peer mentor program development, there's always a next step. And we have done all of it for, this program has been running for 20 years. It was really Arzu's idea. And I've been having the pleasure of leading it the past 3 years, or co-directing it with now the lead academic advisor, because I've moved into a faculty role. But we're hoping that you'll come away with kind of a sense of where to go next, wherever you're at in the development process. And then we want to relay the impact of peer mentoring. We have some data to share, both official and unofficial, and really some kind of anecdotal data that we see in our students. Now, we're coming from a major that is, very large. Arzu talked about the numbers back when she was advising, and I believe to this day it's upward to 2,500 or 2,700 majors. And our students go on to do so many different things with their undergraduate degree, from doctoral programs in clinical psychology to working in human resources, to doing sales, marketing, management. So there's such a big pool of kind of fish in our psychology sea that the impact of peer mentoring can really help students find a place and feel part of something in a big pool. So I'll hand it over to Arzu to talk about the overview and how UPEP came to be.
Thank you, Christy. So as I mentioned, I was a psych major here at the University of Arizona a long time ago. And during that time, I was also a peer advisor for first-year students outside of psychology in a different program. And really learned from that experience the value of having a peer to help you navigate your first year is very essential. And as Christy mentioned, psychology is the largest major on campus, because it tends to be one of the go-to majors for students when they apply to college. And as Christy mentioned, there's so many opportunities and options within the field of psychology itself, but also many other opportunities outside of psychology that a bachelor's can lead to. So with my experience as an undergrad, in the psychology program myself, and, I kind of changed my path in terms of wanting to get a PhD in social psych, and then I moved into the field of higher ed because of the experiences that I had with my psych degree was very helpful for that. I decided in my first year to pilot a peer mentor type of experience, similar to what I was doing when I was an undergrad. With workshop sessions where students met regularly with a peer mentor who was either a third or fourth year student in psychology, and they conducted workshops on academic strategies like study skills and time management, but also learning about the different fields within psychology, so that they could better understand their options, and also it helped them determine if psychology was actually the major that they wanted to pursue. After that pilot program, I decided to put together a curriculum for a 1-credit class to be taught by the academic advisors. And we selected peer mentors through an application process. And from that, the peer mentors were able to get internship credit in psychology, so that, because we didn't really have funds to pay them as student employees, but earning credit was helpful for them in terms of their degree. So from that experience, we developed some training. We uncovered actually a few resources that we were able to use for the course itself and also for the internship for our peer mentors. So there was a book, and I can't recall the name, but it was Fields in Psychology, and it talked about all the different majors and the different opportunities. So that was the textbook for the class. And we had a peer mentor handbook that we used to train our peer mentors, on how to communicate and what to talk about and how to refer students to resources and learn about all the campus resources available to students. And the peer mentors were embedded in the classroom, and they also met with the students once every other week. So having this peer mentor available to the student really allowed for a sense of connection and belonging, not just with the peer mentor, but with the students in the classroom who are all going through the same thing and starting their college journey. And it provided opportunities for them to have someone they could go to that they felt comfortable with, a peer who's been at the university for a couple of years in that same program, and get assistance when they didn't know where to go or what to do. So that's how the program was developed, and we would offer about, I think, 6 sections a semester, maybe more, with about 20 to 25 students in each class, and each peer mentor having about those students. And they could register when they came through orientation. So that's how the program came to be. Go to the next slide.
Yeah, sorry. Sometimes pauses.
Okay, so I'm going to share just some findings from different research related to peer mentors over the years. This is after actually, a lot of these are after the program was developed. But as I mentioned, I did do my dissertation on first year success courses in peer mentoring. And so my research, when I conducted it, was about 8 schools across the country who had first year success courses, some with peer mentoring and some without. And so I found in my study that students involved in these programs showed higher levels of academic achievement, greater integration into college life, and a stronger sense of belonging, which contributed positively to their college experiences. Another study that was done in 2017 by Jacoby, Bishop, and Logan, it was called The Impact of Peer Mentoring on First-Year College Students' Academic Success and Social Integration. And they analyzed the effects of peer mentoring programs at various universities and reported improved retention rates and academic performance among first-year students with peer mentors. Peer mentors were found to provide essential support both in academic and social realms, which helps students integrate more successfully into the college environment. There were some additional studies and more recent studies for students who are from unrepresented backgrounds. In 2021, a study was done assessing a Chilean peer mentoring program and found that participating first-year students, especially those from underrepresented backgrounds, achieved better average grades, attendance rates, and retention levels than non-participants. And the research underscores the effectiveness of peer mentoring in promoting academic success among diverse student populations. So those are just a few. There are a lot more out there. Since I did my research back in finished in 2010, and there has been several more studies after that relating to peer mentors and how it influences students. So there's been a lot of positive research out there on the effects for all students, and even more specifically, students from underrepresented backgrounds.
So, knowing the impact and what the research shows, there's another big piece of what that program focuses on, and it's today as well. We looked at retention and graduation rates. So what we see over time when we compare the students who participate in this program versus students that are not psych majors, not in this program, is that they tend to retain at a higher rate and graduate at a higher rate than that comparison group. And that really speaks volumes to the importance of just having that go-to person. It can really make a big impact. We're thinking of wanting to have a connection in the department, wanting to help them feel connected to their peers. But what we're seeing is that it had an even bigger impact on their trajectory of their undergraduate career. A big piece that has always been part of the class and is now a weekly focus of the class is career readiness. And I mentioned earlier about psych and psychological science majors and how they go into so many different types of careers. That could be true of any major. So I'm not sure, who is in the room that are coming from different fields in higher ed. It doesn't have to be psychology. You could use this program for really any major. But career readiness is a big part of what we do in the class. Each week, we start off with a careers of the week, and we have about 5-6 minutes we dedicate to the beginning of the class talking about a different career path. We'll often play a 3 or 4 minute video from YouTube that really highlights the career from an actual person who is doing that work. And then we'll also have information on a slide about what you can do in that path with a bachelor's degree, and then other careers that you need more education, like a master's or a PhD, because we want to show them that doing this work, there is a lot of pathways to get there. And that has been really well received. We used to do about 2 or 3 weeks just focus on careers, and we would cover many careers in 50 minutes as we could, and we found that it was hard to digest. So we've spread it out across the full 15 weeks of the class, and it's a lot easier, and the students are able to fully retain, that week's career focus. And to kind of build more on what Arzu was saying, having these smaller communities, again, we're a large, public university where they could have a gen ed class of, 200 people. Now we're up to 30 students per class instead of 20, but still that is still seen as small, especially in the psychology major. It's a nice way where people can connect, have lower stakes assignments. The kinds of assignments that we do are focused on resumes and doing a deep dive on a certain career path. We'll do reflections, we'll do goal setting, and I think we go into depth later in the presentation on that. But we find that students, from diverse backgrounds are having another opportunity to connect with peers in a smaller, maybe less intimidating space. And having that peer mentor with someone they can go to for their questions of maybe this is they're the first person in their family who's gone to college, so they feel like, oh, I have a lot more questions, no one in my family can relate to this experience. Well, now they have a peer mentor that's a junior or senior psychology major that's kind of been through the ropes. So we've been really finding a lot of success for those students. So yes, I always tend to talk about the slide next. So talking about the structure of the program, there's a weekly 50-minute class, and it's co-instructed by either a faculty member, an academic advisor, or we also have an experiential learning coordinator who does instruct a class. So peer mentors, they do lead different parts of the class. They'll usually is a designated time for, the main instructor to lead an activity and then the peer mentor to lead an activity. So the peer mentors are getting a lot of professional development out of this program as well. We cover goal setting usually on the first or second day. Sometimes the first day is a lot more like nuts and bolts and just getting used to college and what this program is. We do goal setting. We typically focus on the SMART goal. We focus on acclimating to college. There's a lot of talk about college resources on campus. We do focus on professional skills. Every student in the class will do a presentation with a group. We work on their communication, so how to email folks on campus and how to have a professional email and what that looks like. This year we started with we had a mindfulness unit to help them do preparation before exams and kind of how to calm their mind and de-stress. And then I talked about the career pathways. One change, we do have the peer mentors meet with students now 3 times a semester versus 5. Our goal was to be able to expand this program to offer it to all incoming psych students, which is about 600, and we haven't quite gotten there yet. Our largest class we were able to offer this to largest number of students was last fall. It was to 300. So we're pretty impressed with that, but we have a long way to go to get to 600. We meet every Friday to review the next week of curriculum and what's going to go. So as the faculty member in charge, I prepare all of the curriculum, I build all the D2L sites, and I lead those Friday meetings to say, here's what's coming up next week. We walk through it, we look at the PowerPoint, we give feedback, we clarify what the mentors need to prepare for the upcoming week. And it's a lot of fun. The Friday meetings are fun. How are things going? What's working? What isn't? Do you have an issue with a student? It's really a collaborative meeting. The peer mentors in the program are huge. I mean, this wouldn't be the program it is without it. I mean, yes, I could teach the weekly class, but if I'm not able to meet with all these students one-on-one 3 times a semester, it's not the same. The peer mentors, they get to lead activities in the class. They meet with these students one-on-one. They're gaining skills in communication and listening skills. Some of these students want to go on to counseling careers. It's a great hands-on experience getting ready for that. It's not the same as being a counselor, but it's really close because you get to take notes. They take notes of their meetings. And they get to teach in front of a class. I mean, there's not a lot of experiences where you get to have so many different things. We do a training every summer, and it's typically the Friday right before school starts, because we know these students are away from the summer often. And it's a full day. It's typically 9 to 4. And we have different folks that come in, and we have a communication and listening skills training with the head of our behavioral health clinic in our department. So she is a trained psychologist, and and I always learn something every time I've seen this presentation about how I can utilize my active listening skills. This year, we added a training on cultural competence, and we had a real dynamic speaker from a unit on campus that helped these students learn about hidden curriculum that affects certain students in the classroom, how they can relate to students that have different backgrounds. They learned about different cultures and different expectations from different cultures, because as they are meeting with their students, you want to be mindful and aware of those differences and how they can be construed through communication. And I know, Arthur, you had something you wanted to say about the third bullet.
Yeah, I just had some points related to the social responsibility, equity, and belonging that peer mentoring reinforces. And there's 3 components, I believe, to like social responsibility. One is community building. The peer mentor fosters a supportive network within the campus, encouraging students to look out for each other, create a welcoming environment for everyone. They're role models, and they show their mentees the importance of integrity and accountability and positive social behaviors, reinforcing a culture of responsibility and support. And mentoring also allows students to be introduced to university values, opportunities for civic engagement, and motivating them to participate in service-oriented projects or contribute to the community's well-being. Equity, I feel, is really based on how the training is done and the things that Christy just mentioned, really working with students to help provide guidance for them in terms of reducing barriers to success, like getting them connected with financial aid advisors or academic advisors, and just any obstacles that they're facing, referring them to resources to help them navigate, and also promoting like diversity awareness, where the peer mentors themselves are from different backgrounds, and the mentees they're engaging with have different perspectives. So really having the opportunity to appreciate diversity and fostering that sense of culture and inclusion within the group. And then again, belonging is really a big part of what is in the peer mentor program, helping students have a safe space to share their concerns and feel heard, being paired up with someone who has been here, who has had the experience to provide guidance and emotional and academic support in a way that we as academic advisors couldn't necessarily do because of the role. We're not in school anymore. And then developing some friendships and connections that will carry with them through their academic experience. All right, so this is also me. So we have done some, I'm going to share some preliminary results on how this program has impacted student success for over 20 years. So the analysis of the retention and graduation rates of students who are enrolled in Psych 197A really reveals some significant positive outcomes. And we've done some comparative analysis with the overall university retention metrics, which shows that the first year retention rates for students who participated in this class are consistently higher than the general student population. Participation in this course increased persistence even among students with lower high school GPAs, demonstrating that the program supports students across ranges of academic abilities. It also has reduced the likelihood of earning a GPA below 2.0 in their first semester. So making sure students are successful in their first semester. And also the 4-year and 6-year graduation rates for students who are enrolled in Psych 197A is higher than those who did not participate in the program. We also show that first-gen students who enrolled in 197A have a higher retention rate after their first year compared to all first-year students, as well as non-white students have an average higher retention rate for the first year and also their 6-year graduation rates. So this program definitely has an impact. We know initially that students select or opt into it because we don't have the ability to offer it for everyone. But we know that if we do, it's going to have a significant impact on all of our students in their first year.
Great, thank you. I know we're getting close to time. I'm sorry we weren't able to start on time. So I'll kind of go through this quickly and get to the conclusion. But small group mentorship. So one peer up to 30 students, when they meet 3 times a semester, is very manageable for them. They take notes, and so anyone who asks you about something that you talked about last time you were talking with them, it creates that sense of that community, that you remember me, that you know about me, that you care, and ultimately that I belong here because I feel a part of something. So the mentors have binders, and they have a tab for each student, and they are taking detailed notes after their meeting. Ask them about their dog, Charlie. How's that roommate situation going? How is biology going? I know that's one of your challenging classes. Things like that. They all do active goal settings. Even the peer mentors have to set goals for their semester working with these students along with students in the classroom. And at the end of the semester, they open up these letters that they've written themselves. And they usually are all smiling really big to see kind of like even just the funny things that are different, even if they didn't quite meet their goal. Often there's something they say in these letters that, crack a smile because they've kind of grown so much in that first semester. But there's a huge amount of growth that happens for the peer mentors, the ones that are, teaching up there in front of us, in front of the class with us, from the first time they've taught to the end of the semester, and how much more comfortable they are. It's really amazing experience working with the students in all this. So just as a recap, we call it UPEP's Undergraduate Psychology Exploration Program. It really, some of the pieces have stayed in place from the very beginning, and some of the pieces have evolved. And every semester, we're always looking to make it better. And we utilize what the peer mentors tell us and what the students tell us about what they liked, what they didn't like, and what they want changed. And so every summer, I always like, no, I'm not going to change it. And then I always change it because I want it to be what the students of today need. We have a handout, and I might ask our host to put it in the chat since I'm not really able to access that. But we do have a handout. It's some sort of like takeaway that we want you to have, especially those of you who are really interested in creating a program. But we would love for you to have some strategies. And then also, of course, you have access to us even beyond this session, and we'll get into the Q of A right now. But we hope that you'll reach out if you ever do have questions or things that maybe we can help you with as far as running a peer mentor program, whether it's attached to a course or not. Arzu, I figured I would just go to open questions since we have like 4 minutes. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
And we can stop sharing so they can just see us.
Okay, well, thank you, Christy and Arzu, and thank you to the audience for your participation in today's session. Please use the link in the chat for the evaluation to give your feedback on the session, and we hope to see you in our next keynote presentation. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.